Hello and welcome to 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. I am your host, Jeremiah Long, and coming with me is my co-host, Logan Landers. How's it going?
Man, Jeremiah, I'm doing great, buddy. I'm ready to talk about this Lance Alworth history special. Got a real special one for you today, guys.
Awesome, man. And Lance Alworth, he is a historic figure from Arkansas football history. I can't wait to learn more about him. And as always, I always learn a whole lot when you do these history specials. So, yeah, let's get it going.
Let's do it, man. So we have a lot to, unpack here with Lance Alworth. Very impressive. He played at the University of Arkansas from 1959 through 1961. And, man, during that time, he led all of college in punt return yardage with around 300 yards, each season in 61. He's also a track star during his time. So, man, he was a speedy little guy. And he was just run all over the place. And I'm sure opposing defenders, hated seeing this guy on the field. He's also a 3-time academic All-American, so he's getting done in the classroom too. So that's very, commendable of him also. Now, in college, he was a running back, which a lot of people don't remember because they mostly remember his time in the AFL and NFL, which we'll get to in just a little bit. But in college, he ran for 1,272 yards with 4 touchdowns, and he was good enough to make the Arkansas Hall of Honor, the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame. He's also part of the 1960s All-Decade team and the All-Century team during his college tenure. So we can already see here with Lance that he was no slouch in college. And, bro, he translated very well to the next level. Now, he was known as a flanker or wide receiver. Now, usually a flanker plays behind the tight end, and they're usually the fastest guys on the field. And like we saw with Lance, he was a track star. He's also a running back, so he definitely has some speed to him. Now, back in the 70s and whatnot, 60s and 70s, there's the AFL and the NFL. Now, he was drafted by the AFL by the Oakland Raiders and the NFL by the San Francisco 49ers. He chose to go with the Raiders and, the Al Davis, the famous Oakland Raiders owner. However, he traded him to the San Diego Chargers of the AFL, where he really was able to make a name for himself. He earned the nickname Bambi based off his speed, leaping, and catching abilities. So, man, you'll see here in just a second, Jeremiah, just how dominant Bambi Lance Alworth was. And his career stats, he played for 11 total years, 9 of them with the Chargers, and 2 of them with the Dallas Cowboys. Vincent Turner, I know you remember what lives out there, buddy. So during his entire career, he finished with 542 receptions, 10,266 yards, and 85 touchdowns, man. He had 7 straight years of over 1,000 yards from 63 through 69, man. You're talking about legends when you talk about that many consecutive years, over 1,000 yards. That is very impressive. We've seen, it's a very few amount of wide receivers in the history of the NFL and AFL, for that matter, who've reached that amount in that many straight years. And Lance, all of his accomplishments that he got during his playing career, they paid off. He was an AFL champion in 1963. He was a Super Bowl champion in 1972. A 7-time All-Star in the AFL through 1963 to 1969. He's also a 16 first-time All-AFL from 1963 through 68. He's one of 3 AFL Player of the Years in 1963. He made the NFL's 75th anniversary all-time team, the 100th anniversary all-time team, the AFL all-time team. He got his number 19 retired by the Los Angeles Chargers. He's also in the Chargers Hall of Fame. Then, all of his amazing accomplishments was able to get him into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1984 and the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1978. Man, Lance Alworth, an absolute legendary receiver. A lot of people think he's one of the best AFL players that have ever came out of that group. I could definitely see, Bambi was a great wide receiver. The numbers speak for themselves, man. 7 straight years of over 1,000 yards. He was not dropping hardly any passes. He was catching it. He was running to the house. 85 total touchdowns too. That's not too shabby either. Very impressive figure, no doubt. Just like we said, we always do one of these legend videos mostly every single week, and it's great to look back, just at history and see one of these players that is very respected in his sport, a talented wide receiver in both college, a talented running back in college as well, and a talented wide receiver in the AFL, and all of his hard work, it paid off. He got 2 championships. He got an AFL and an NFL championship. So not too many players can say that.
No, definitely not. And yeah, I like you said, I always learn a lot from these. But so yeah, he was a running back when he was in college. He made that transition to being a wide receiver. And yeah, so I would say that there are a lot of fandoms out there beyond Arkansas, beyond even like the Chargers, San Diego. There's so many places that he was able to make a name for himself. That the fandom all over through a lot of history too. He played for a lot of years. Really remember Lance Alworth.
Yeah, man.
Go ahead. Yeah. So let me ask you this, Logan. What is your last and final takeaway for Mr. Alworth? While we take a glance back here at our final slideshow here. And let me just say, too, that no matter what else you guys want to see, let us know at 100 Yards of Football, because that's our big thing. We want to bring you history videos, prospects, and team videos every time we can. So, again, one time, Logan, what's your final words on Mr. Lance Alworth?
Lance Alworth, I just got to say these few words. Legendary wide receiver. Mm-hmm. Absolute stud on the field. Was able to catch he got around 10,000 plus yards.
Yeah.
85 touchdowns. Got 2 championships.
Yep.
So definitely a great, legend in our game. Proud to have, looked up some of his stats and, bring the 100 Yards Football family a little bit of info about Lance Alworth.
Absolutely. Well, for everybody watching, we are 100 Yards of Football, Sports Talk Radio. If there's anything else you'd like to know about Lance Alworth, any Arkansas history, or any of the other teams that Lance played for, just let us know in the comments, and we'll be sure to cover those. That's one thing we love to do, is we love to bring you all the great history, especially of players that need to get that recognition. Like they're not the players that are household names, because there's only a few of those. There's a handful of those. But what people need to realize is these players worked super hard all the way through college into their professional career. They served through a huge, long professional career with lots of great highlights. And we want to make sure to highlight every amazing, football hero through the ages. So for 100 Yards of Football, I'm the producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me is the host, Logan Landers, and we'll see you later this week. See ya.